DTEK Energo. We would like to produce electrical energy during the next 10 years out of coal of our own extraction. We are having the ideology of heat and thermal generation. We are working on the efficiency of the coal extraction. We are investing in the improvement of our parameters and indicators of thermal power stations. We are reconstructing ourselves to play a new role in the thermal generation in our energy system, which I mentioned above. And we would like to be leaders still in the competitive market of electrical energy in Ukraine, as I mentioned above, the leader not only in the production volume of electrical energy or the prime cost. I think that DTEK Energo is taking a worthy niche in the overall volume of the electrical energy production, considering the trends. But we will be the leader in the services provision, the price of the services, balancing, maneuvering. We will go on taking part in the reforming of this market. Now we are seriously looking at the new technologies, and we've got some pilot projects on the energy storage. And in the first quarter next year, we will launch our first pilot project of the whole Ukraine on the energy storage in the industrial scale. We are searching for the new place and new products for DTEK Energo, using the infrastructure which we have now. Today, the transformation is concerning this company most of all, and I'm sure that with the team, with the ideas, with those thoughts and technologies, with that breakthrough of the efficiency which we had during the previous 5 years, the company of DTEK Energo is the example for both for other companies in DTEK and the market as a whole. A big challenge for DTEK Energo is the transformation of coal regions, of course. And DTEK Energo is the company which bears a very big social load and burden of responsibility for this transformation to be fair in the cities where we are working, as for our people who are living in those cities. And I'm sure, I'm convinced that the change of the technologies and the decrease of the share of coal generation in Ukraine and in the world will push DTEK Energo to the search of new solutions for this company to have the same 10 worthy years as the previous 15. DTEK VIA, that is renewables, the strategy of the development. We are speaking about the increase of the capacity installed with the help of the full cycle of the implementation of the projects and efficiency capital management. What do we mean? First of all, we'd like to stay a leader at the market of the renewables in Ukraine. For today, DTEK Renewables is one of the biggest producers of the electrical energy, though the market is not concentrated. The share of the market is approximately 14% of the green generation. We are waiting for the decisions of the government about the form of support of green generation or any other forms of green kilowatt-hour sales. It will be a certain signal for us to go on the creation of the new capacities. We will do that in Ukraine. Today, in a very active phase, we are developing our investments into the European countries, and I'm sure that in 2021 we'll have the first pilot projects on the construction of the wind and solar generation in the European Union. The international expansion is, as I've already mentioned, with the renewables, is one of the drivers for our expansion beyond Ukraine. And I think that during those 10 years, as for the volume of the installed capacity, both in Ukraine and in the European Union, DTEK will become one of the leading companies. The full cycle of the project implementation is, first of all, concerning the team which is formed today in DTEK Renewables. I consider that our experts both in engineering and construction and design, are one of the best, and not only in Ukraine. Our international expansion will be supported to the max by those guys and ladies, the experts, who've constructed capacities in Ukraine. So today we can construct from the scratch to the launch and management of the wind and solar power stations. The efficient capital management is a very important parameter for the construction of green generation. The price of the capital is defining the economy of these projects. And here, this is a home task for us, from the perspective of the work with the international market and the capital, and for Ukraine. For the price of capital in Ukraine not to be 3-4 times higher than the European countries, it makes us non-competitive. And the price of the capital in Ukraine depends on how Ukraine is trusted by the Western investors, how Ukraine is trusted by the national business, and which risk bonus is claimed because of the uncertainty in the country, stability. The European regulatory environment, respect for the investors, respect for the private state. So all of those are the factors which are impacting the price of the capital and, as an implication, the competitiveness of our companies and our economy. DTEK Oil and Gas, the strategy of the growth. Our first investments into oil and gas were done in 2013. And today I'm sure that the team which is working in DTEK Neftegas is a benchmark in how we can search and implement new technologies, how we can increase efficiency of gas extraction, how we can show incredible growth. I'd like to remind you that since 2013, the volume of gas production of all of the fields where we began our investments has increased by more than 4 times. And today, a huge trust, professional trust of the companies which deal with the gas production and oil production. So, considering the needing character of this product in Ukraine, considering the green transition when gas is becoming more of a priority, we can see a very active development and growth of the gas production. We see that during the next year there can be 2 points. DTEK will begin to produce oil in Ukraine, will expand the portfolio of assets in Ukraine, both through the participants in the open auctions and through the sales of the private companies. And of course, the growth of this company would be impossible without the newest technologies. For us, it's so important to have the partnership with our colleagues from the United States of America and Canada, from other countries. For Ukraine to have the most contemporary, the modern technologies in their intelligence and the extraction of gas and oil. Today, we are proud of the achievements which we've got in Neftegas, in oil and gas. I will remind you that our team has drilled the deepest well in Europe with a commercial net. And we know that this is not the limit. We need to move on. I think that there are all of the assumptions to say that DTEK can have the leading positions and preserve them in the private extraction of gas in our country. DTEK grids. In the same way, we are speaking here about the growth strategy. I consider that today we've created all of the preconditions at the market of Ukraine for the grid companies to change dramatically and cardinally, both in their reliability and the quality of the customer service and the decrease of the losses. Neither digitalization, nor the implementation of new technologies, nor the creation of green generation is possible without the development of our grids, electrical grids. I consider that all of the businesses of DTEK, to this or that extent, are connected with how successful is the development of DTEK grids. We've got a huge experience of work in this business. We've got some understanding of the priorities of investments. That is why our long-term strategy witnesses about the expansion of the assets portfolio. We are ready to take more and more part both in the procurement and the acquirement of the grid companies, both in Ukraine and beyond it. We will be working on the improvement of the regulations, and again, I welcome the solution which was taken for the RAB regulation. I think this is a very important first step which would stimulate and incentivize the grid companies to invest and to reduce the operational costs. And in the end of the day, as the outcome, it will be reflected on the reliability of electrical supply and the price of kilowatt hour. Today, the losses in the grids cost us 15 billion hryvnia. I consider that the investments would allow us to reduce this volume which is paid by each Ukrainian consumer because of the losses in our distribution grids. And of course it's connected with the efficient investments. First and foremost, this is the updating of our production funds and digitalization. I think that everything which is connected with the digitalization and grid management is the most important trend today in the world. And as I've already mentioned, not a single business which we discuss today can work without the smart digital grids. Detrading. I consider that this company, in fact, just rushed into the new market. And I would like to welcome the whole team, which works rather quickly under the conditions of the total instability and uncertainty and ongoing reforming of our energy market, was able to really show itself what it's worth, to find and to implement the newest technologies, first of all analytical ones, to deserve the trust of the customers whom we supply electrical energy, and to create new products, though the regulations are not allowing us to do that properly. And I consider that trading in that unstable environment is playing a huge role for the sustainability of not only DTEK but the whole system. Today, the huge risks and volatility because of the technologies and geopolitics, because of the first elements of energy markets which emerge and they haven't become stable, and also the work of the trading is so important to flatten, to smoothen these deviations and to provide stability into our life for the energy system and the biggest energy companies, and stability for our consumers of electrical energy and their products. That's what our DTEK is doing today. And I think that both people and technologies and the software and the analytical tools and the artificial intelligence as a technology which is already today in trading will allow us to speak seriously about the international expansion. We are working on that today, and I think that our team will be successful. Well, and of course, international expansion and trading in Ukraine cannot deal without the best modern risk management systems. That is why the task for today, for our team, is to create such systems which would allow to trade energy products, taking into consideration the acceptable risks and to have one more opportunity to expand our business further on. D-Solutions, the new business, which has also been created as the outcome of the unbundling, the separation with the generations. And today I've already mentioned a lot, and I've said that the client, the customer, the consumer plays a totally new role in the ecosystem, in the coordinate system of the energy companies and the branch. The huge hopes and expectations are laid on this company, D-Solutions. This is the company which is now at the front line. How we can measure the pulse of the attitude towards us by the customer, by the consumer. And of course, it's impossible to turn upside down the whole story and the legacy. The history which was created during the monopoly times. Today, we've got only one natural monopoly, that is DTEK grids, which is totally managed by the state. But not a single other businesses of DTEK is a monopoly. It's working in the open market. And maybe has some direct assessment by our consumers. It's a powerful retail brand. We've got the brand Yasno. I consider that we can be proud by those first steps and the life of this brand. We can be proud of them. This is the brand which was created to take care of people, to take care about our consumers, to simplify their lives, to provide heat and comfort. This is what we can say about Yasno. But those are the first steps. And maybe we haven't deserved the round of applause from our consumers. Maybe there's more criticism today which we can hear. And this is the challenge for our team and the team of D-Solutions, first of all. It's so important for us, for our declarations and promises to coincide with the reality, with what is happening. And this is responsibility of the whole team of ours and the company of D-Solutions. The powerful retail brand is again supported by the real actions, the very broad line of products and solutions. We don't want to be restricted only by the sales of kilowatt hours. Today we sell gas already. Today we sell smart solutions for the households. Today we are selling solar panels for the rooftops. Today we give the opportunity for the customers to be more prosumers. That's what I was mentioned about, the unique role of the customers when they can both consume and sell the electrical energy into the grids. And of course the best customers' experience. For me it's incredibly important for our customer to choose Yasno, not just because they don't have any other choice, but because it's the best company which provides services.